Okay, my watch says 6:30. Call to order the June 11th, 2018 Latrobe City Council meeting. Please stand for the pledge to the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'll ask for a moment of silence to give thanks, to ask for guidance, or to just quietly relax. Thank you. Roll call.
Mr. Kelly?
Present.
Mr. Murtha?
Here.
Mr. Bartels?
Here.
Mr. Baldneary?
Here.
Mr. Forrest?
Here.
Mrs. Weller? Here. Mayor Wolford?
Here. At this time, I'll ask for the approval of the minutes from the May 14th, 2018 Latrobe City Council meeting. May I have a motion, please?
I move the minutes of the May 14th, 2018 meeting be approved and accepted and be permitted to remain on the Secretary's desk where they will be available for reading and inspection to anyone.
Thank you, Mr. Bartels. May I have a second, please?
I second the motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Weller. Any questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. At this time, I'll ask for approval of the fiscal department reports and paid bills for the month of May 2018. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Murtha. May I have a second?
I'll second it, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. At this time, we have our citizens' request portion of the meeting with items related to the agenda. If there are any residents that would like to speak on items related to the agenda, please go to the microphone and state your name and address. Yes, sir. You don't have to go to the microphone.
Where's the microphone?
It's over there,
Over where?
back there. If you could speak loud enough, you can speak
Okay.
from there.
My name is David Moyer, and I live at Latrobe Manor. And you folks have a real serious problem with your handicap ramps, getting from the roadway to the sidewalk. Right here outside your door, at the stoplight, you cannot navigate the ramp to get on the sidewalk. But if I come 100 feet down, you've got this lovely, smooth as a baby's ramp to get into the City Hall building. I've talked to the city department on the phone, and I've had a few requests to put up a sandwich board for yield to pedestrians. I've been to the Blind Rehab Center in Cleveland, Ohio for the last 5 weeks, and I just returned last week. And it's something that has to be looked at very seriously. It's just not me because I'm in a chair and I'm blind, legally blind, shall we say. Well, what about the lady that's got the baby stroller, and she's trying to get off your roadway onto your sidewalk, and she kicks her kid out of the stroller? There's numerous ways to fix it. I was told by one of your employees here that you couldn't get any hot patch. How many truckloads of hot patch would you like me to have delivered tomorrow morning into your parking lot? We need to address this. It's very, very serious because the American with Disability Act is very prevalent. I understand that in July of 2019, PennDOT's going to come through here and bless your roadways and go ahead and scrape them and give them a haircut and do asphalt. What do we do between now and 2019? Any suggestions?
How many ramps, personally, sir, could you say need repair? I mean, you cited one.
Well, there's 4 here. There's 4 on your corner.
Are they all in the same shape?
Yeah, they are. They're all in the same disrepair. The problem is when I come out of Latrobe Manor I can't come up here and navigate your stoplight because I can't get off the sidewalk onto the roadway because I scrape. I was taught to only cross roadways with a traffic signal, and that's through the Veterans Administration in Cleveland, Ohio. I was there for 5 weeks. They taught me to make sure that there's a blocker car before I go ahead and cross. My sight is not so really good, you know. But the thing that really bothers me, I heard a rumor, and it's a vicious rumor, that there was some T-21 money granted last year to the city of Latrobe. And in lieu of fixing the handicap ramps, you guys put all the money in this walking trail at the park. And if that's true, shame on you.
That's not true.
To fix these ramps is not that big of a deal. I know that in 2019, PennDOT's going to come here and wave their little hand to PennDOT and resurface your roadways. But you can't navigate your city. I cannot go from my home at Latrobe Manor to Rite Aid Pharmacy without crosswalk or jaywalk, shall we say, in a painted space without a yield to pedestrian sign. I talked to the chap in the city road department. He assured me that he could probably get those for me. Well, I've been gone for 6 weeks and I don't see any signage. And I about got my butt ran over right here on your corner on Sunday afternoon because people were turning right and not yielding to me in the crosswalk with my white cane in front of the police department. That's not right, folks. You're putting my life in jeopardy. You're putting a whole lot of lives in jeopardy because we can fix this. It's not rocket science. It's bags of concrete, a pickaxe, and a couple of guys not leaning on a shovel. And they can fix one of those intersections, I bet you, in 10 working man hours each. And they're not done. And you're
Okay.
putting me
Go ahead.
in jeopardy.
Go ahead, Stone.
So that's my beef. Let's fix it. It's not that big of a deal. I can't see, but I'll go out there and mix concrete for you. Go ahead.
Technically, by law, you're not allowed to fix them that way. Handicap ramps have to be at a 45% grade on them, no less, no more. You cannot just put a patch job on it. You have to repair the whole area.
Then repair them.
If I'm not mistaken, in 2019, when they come through and redo the traffic lights, they are also redoing all the handicap ramps, and we're not right, Wayne?
Yes.
Yes. So
So what do I do until now in 2019? Make my chair get stumped over because your ramps suck?
Is there a
we can
short?
raise your taxes and do
We'll go right ahead.
Okay, first of all, let me say that the money that was used for the Lincoln Avenue Trail was, the money that was used for the Lincoln Avenue Trail was DCNR money, so I don't know, that information that you have isn't accurate, and you can't, when you apply for a grant, you have to use the money for what you're applying for the grant for, okay?
T-21.
Yeah, I
All
don't
you
even
have
know
to do
what that
is
is.
fill the paperwork out and they'll open the check.
I don't know what that is, no, I don't know what a
You
T-21.
don't know what it is. It's
I
a
know.
grant from the United States government.
Okay,
You know what a
well,
T-21 grant
Yes,
is?
and our
Thank you.
the grant money we received was put in for that, and still when you put in
Right, right.
that grant money, you have to use that money for what you put that money in.
right,
That's fine.
we've never applied for a T-21 grant to my knowledge since I've been here, Wayne, do you know? Since you've been here?
Not that I'm aware of. No, we've never applied for a 221.
No. Mike, or Wayne, can we look at this and see if there's a short-term fix that we can do until 2020
Yeah, we can do that.
or 2019?
Yeah,
Are we
big-
going to have issues because the main ramps that I'm thinking of are all on state-owned roads?
That
I
could
don't
be
know if that
They're
would
all on layout
Yeah.
signals.
The other issue
But
is,
they're all-
But they're state-owned roads.
The Route 981 coming up here, Main Street,
Yeah.
Depot Street coming the other way down to the bridge. Those are both state-owned roads. So
But
we have to go
I'm in the
through
city of Latrobe.
But the state owns the roads.
981 goes
So what do I have
through.
to do? Go get the governor to come here and tell you to fix the damn things?
Well, my guess is they tell you we are in 2019, which isn't a good
No.
answer.
You guys got a problem.
We do.
handicap ramps are
Understand.
insufficient for the American with Disability Act. And all I'm asking you to do is try to repair them, put a Band-Aid on them until the big PennDOT God in the sky comes and resurfaces your roadway in 2019.
Understood, I
That's a
understand.
year away.
I understand.
And they say 2019 June, it's probably gonna be 2020 May, because they gotta stand on the shovel for 6 months to keep them upright.
I understand, sir.
Well, then why can't you fix it?
We're going to look into it different ways. The biggest issue that we're going to have is trying to figure out an application to put on the existing concrete so it doesn't wash away every time it rains. You just can't put hot asphalt on the concrete. or
Right, it's
tar.
gonna fall apart.
Right, exactly, and that's the only thing probably we'll be able to do, to put a Band-Aid on it.
Well, if you took these intersections that I'm referring to,
Well, some of the intersections too are privately owned, they're not owned by the city, not all sidewalks and curb ramps are.
I'll buy one.
Well, we're gonna look into it, we'll see what.
Well, the
we
thing
can do.
is, they're a curved piece of brick. And somebody with a pickaxe could go ahead and take that brick and throw it in the wheelbarrow. And then you go ahead and clean out that space, which would be a cavity, a canal, shall we say. Make some concrete up and pour the concrete in place. And when PennDOT comes in and shaves your old roadway away, then they may shave that away. And that's fine. But I can't wait until 2019, 2020 to navigate in your city. Somebody's gonna get hurt. It's that bad. And I'll take the city road guy out and we'll do a walkabout maybe Thursday. And I'll show him the concern that I have as a citizen. And I have a ton of people that live in Latrobe Manor and the building next door. They're elderly. To go ahead and gather them out at 6:30 in the evening, that's pretty tough to get them to come out. But if I need to get a posse here to make our point, I surely shall. But doggone it, folks, we got a problem. Let's fix it.
And we appreciate that, sir, and we know that, and go ahead, stop.
If you know it, then why can't you go ahead and fix it?
Because
You got
there's-
a road crew.
It's not, as Mike said, as our Public Works Director said, some of the roads and sidewalks are not city-owned, and they belong to the state, I would guess most of those ones belong to the state.
Right.
So,
Then whose liability would it be if I got hurt in Latrobe City of Latrobe, and I got hurt on one of your...
yeah, I'm not gonna pretend I'm a lawyer.
I know you're not
so-
gonna answer.
I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not
But
gonna,
Mr. Maury, one thing you do have to understand, if we
I'm
want,
sorry, I can't hear you.
we want, Jim Kelly, you and I spoke.
Hey,
If we
Mr.
wanted
Kelly.
to put anything down there, I don't care if it's a rubber matting or concrete or whatever, we have to get PennDOT's blessing. We just can't unilaterally say, we think this is what's gonna work. If
Mhm.
PennDOT says, no, it's not, then we have to move on to something else.
Then who do I call to get...
Well, you don't have to call
Get their
anybody until we
advice.
see, first of all, what we come up with, what our Director of Public Works comes up with, and number two, I'm sure he's gonna have to present it to PennDOT, and if PennDOT okays it, and the money's there to do it, then we're off and running.
Okay, because there's money available to you folks.
the,
It's grant money from the U.S. government.
our Public Works Director will be in contact with PennDOT and work with them to try to see if we can come up with a solution, a temporary, short-term solution until we get to the project that they're going to be doing. They're not just paving the roads, they're planning on paving the roads and doing those
Street
intersections.
lights are stopped.
Well, and the curb cuts, That's part of what's in the 2019 plan.
Can't wait until 2019.
I understand what you're saying, so we need to work with PennDOT, we have to work with PennDOT to see if we can come up with a temporary fix
Yeah.
that PennDOT will approve or agree to or pay for or whatever, and see if we can do something. So Mike will work with PennDOT, our Public Works Director.
Mike?
Our Public Works Director.
Mr. Gray, is it back in the seat?
I'm sorry, I can't say, but,
Okay.
but
Okay?
we gotta cut the BS and put something in place.
Well, it doesn't work that way. You have to go by the rules and by the standards of the government.
then let's go ahead and form a committee or a task force to get PennDOT, and you all sit down and have a cup of coffee and a bottle of scotch, and you figure out what the hell you can do.
I like the way you think.
I mean, I don't know.
Now, let Mike do his magic. Let him contact PennDOT and let him see if they can come up with a temporary short-term solution.
How about if Mike and I got together and did a walkabout, just to show him the concern that we have as citizens?
Mike's okay, Mike's fine with that, but my guess is knowing Mike, he knows exactly what you're talking about and exactly where they are, but.
Yeah, exactly.
More than
We can
likely.
get together, but, yeah, I know exactly where you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, they're bad, Michael.
Yeah, there's a lot of locations, but, let's
I mean,
see
you
what
went
we
out
can
there
do.
by the gun club and put down a little piece of asphalt
Right.
where my chair got kicked into the fire hydrant.
Okay.
And it was a good little quick fix, but it's all gone now. But that's when it was still chilly.
Right.
And then I hear excuses, well, we can't get hot patch. Baloney, folks. I can have trailer loads of hot patch delivered tomorrow morning in your parking lot. How many would you like? You know? But anyhow,
Okay, I appreciate you coming, and I appreciate that. Mike will look into it and see what we can do.
Yes.
okay, that'd be fine.
Thank you very much, sir. Anyone else?
Dave,
Dave?
yeah.
Okay. Committee reports. Finance Committee, we don't have anything right now. Do you have anything, Mr. Kelly?
No, I don't have.
Public Safety, guys?
Nothing at this time.
Okay. Public Works?
Nothing at this time, Madam Mayor.
Personnel Committee, we have advertised for the chief's position. I believe the advertisement is online in a variety of places through the PA Chiefs Association. I think, Mike, are you doing some interviews yet?
Yeah, we're going to try to do some interviews here later this week, so
Okay.
see what happens with that.
Events, anything?
I think Mr. Rogers Day went pretty well from what I saw.
It was fantastic.
Mhm.
Yeah, it really was. And the rain held off. But it was hot. It was hot. And we did our showcase for this year, so that's about it. Board and authority reports. Anything from anybody? Anything on Park and Rec? Library?
Yeah, nothing from the library, Madam Mayor, but just a reminder that the summer reading program began this week. Adults and kids can sign up.
Thank you. Department reports. Mike?
Yeah, just two things. We recently had our inspection done at the parking garage. That was performed by Carl Walker Construction, who did a lot of the work on the parking garage back in 2012. Overall, the parking garage is in good shape. So there are issues that need to be addressed in the future regarding the membrane, some cracks, some spalling of the concrete. But as the years go on, we'll budget those items little by little for the repairs. But overall, the parking garage is in good shape, so that's what we like to hear. The second issue, this is not an issue, the second thing was I was just recently made aware of a grant that the Westmoreland Conservation District is going to apply for on behalf of the city. Now, what this grant is, it's going to help bank stabilization at our transfer station facility. Back in February, when we had a lot of the rainfall and flooding, it eroded a good portion of our bank out in close proximity to the transfer station. Contacted the Conservation District. They came out, inspected it, and just got a phone call that they're willing to apply for this grant to help stabilize the bank for further erosion. So we're in the process, the very preliminary process of doing that. So I'll provide you with more as we get it. So it looks good for some work being done. So, okay.
Somebody asked me a question about the parking garage demolition over at the hospital. Do they not have to use our roll-up boxes?
Not whenever there's a construction and demolition company that owns their own, or it's part of like the demolitions to the side. The contractor can then use who they deem appropriate for the type of work. Now, they did utilize us for a lot of boxes, but we tend to shy away from all the concretes. It's long ways.
Yeah.
So they mainly used us for some of the easy demolition and everything, so it worked out really well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Chief Boomer?
Only one thing that we've implemented a new 4-hour training with our firearms training. We now have a interactive shoot and a night shoot that goes along with that. Some law implications and use of force implications. There's a new training center up at the 30 Shopping Center that has shoot, don't shoot scenarios and things like that. And I think that adding that to the training will help us a lot with liability if anything would happen with the shoot. So the guys are responding real well to the training.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? That's it. Chief Brazili's not here, and Ann's not here. Okay, Zach, you're up.
First item for action is item 10A1. This is an ordinance. This is an ordinance of the City of Latrobe, County of Westmoreland, and Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, accepting the donation of 609 Miller Street, Latrobe, PA, to the City of Latrobe. This property is tax map number 15-0306-0163, and the current owners of the property have offered to donate the property to the city upon council's approval of this ordinance. Should they approve it, I'll deliver a deed to Mr. Jones, who can then get it signed by the grantors, and we'll get it filed.
Okay, may I have a motion to adopt the ordinance as outlined by the solicitor?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. May I have a second?
I'll second, Madam Mayor.
Questions?
Yeah, what are we going to do with it?
Put it up for sale. Unless you want to.
How big of a lot is it,
Well, no,
Zach?
it's- it already has a
60
for sale sign on it.
by 80?
It's around a quarter to a third of an
It's
acre.
buildable.
It's vacant. I think there's just a tree on it.
Right, it's buildable. I'm sorry, what was it?
There's a for sale sign on it already.
Yeah, I don't know what their issue was. I don't know what they were asking, but, we can certainly talk to a real estate agent. I've had a couple that I can think of, and they're local, that we can talk to. Unless you might create a park.
No. Any other questions?
Playground,
Okay.
skate park.
Ms. Piton?
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mrs. Weller?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mr. Baldneary?
Yes.
Mr. Bartels?
Yes.
Mayor Wolford?
Yes.
Next item on the agenda is action item 10B1. This is a resolution. This resolution awards the 2018 hot mix paving project contract to A. Liveroni Incorporated. This resolution would award the contract with a total cost of $101,699.85. This was the lowest bidder.
May I have a motion to adopt the resolution as outlined by the solicitor?
I'll make that motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Forrest. May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Baldneary. Any questions or discussion? Ms. Piton?
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Bartels?
Yes.
Mr. Baldneary?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mrs. Weller?
Yes.
Mayor Wolford?
Yes.
Motion passes
unanimously. Sorry, Zach.
The last action item is 10B2. This is an ordinance of the City of Latrobe, County of Westmoreland, and Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Chapter 305 of the City of Latrobe Code regarding the collection of leaf waste. This ordinance provides standards for the picking up of leaf waste. This change was necessitated upon DEP's review of our code book in their grant review process concerning the leaf machine. This ordinance has been provided to PennDOT or DEP for their review, and they have also indicated that it would be in compliance with their grant program.
Okay, can I have a motion, please?
Okay.
I'll make the motion to approve the ordinance as outlined by the solicitor.
I'm sorry, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bartels. May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Baldneary. Any questions or discussion?
Questions. Now, if I read this right here, we're not mandating that they have to put it in biodegradable bags. We can do it loose and/or wet.
Correct.
I just want to make sure that's perfectly clear.
Any other questions?
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Bartels?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mrs. Weller?
Yes.
Mr. Baldmere?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mayor Wolford?
Yes. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, that's it for items, unfinished business. Mr. Kelly?
Oh, two things, Madam Mayor. One, I was just curious as to where we stand with the request to the land bank to purchase the, I don't have the exact address, but the property on Main
On
Street
Main.
in Lincoln.
Yeah, they, last the email I have from April is that they are going to continue to try to sell it.
Okay. They've had it for how long now, 2 years, 3 years?
Almost 3 years.
I think this begs some study as to whether or not we should want to consider making it a policy with our contract that if it's not sold, any parcel is not sold within a fixed period of time, that we would have the option at that point to acquire the property back, make our own efforts to try to sell it. I just think we're in a better state here. We know the local people, we know the local realtors, and have greater incentive to want to get it sold than might the land bank. So,
I mean, the council can always make an offer.
Well, the other thing, I have talked to April about coming in here maybe to an agenda prep session, will be the June one, but maybe the July one, to kind of talk about, since we've been in the land bank for a long time, and some of you probably weren't even on council when we went into the land bank, maybe just to explain the process and how it works and what the expectations are from their side and our side.
Do we have is there a history of what it involves if we start getting involved in a lot of real estate and having to look into so if it hasn't sold for 3 years and we offer them $5 for the property, and so now we have 2 properties to sell, is that going to cause headache? Is that a lot of
The
extra?
problem that you run into is they got a lot of money. Zach, you may know a little bit more about this than I do. I don't know how involved you've been with the land bank, but I know, they take care of the cost of demolition, which, we would never want to get involved in. But, and so they try to recoup their costs afterwards. Zach, do you want to add anything?
I would just confirm that. One of the biggest benefits of the land bank is they can leverage their their assets, their size, and their ability to get grants to demolish properties. And then through the selling process, they try to get back at least what they put into the property when they try to sell it to a third party. And then when that doesn't work out down the line, after a long period of time, they might consider.
And and if we have an idea, or if we have somebody that we know, they want to work with us. So if we have a realtor that we think would be, I don't know, do they work with realtors or they do it themselves? I don't really know.
Madam Mayor, part of the problem, if we just follow with what Mr. Chancellor said, they get to a point now where I think it's been 2 years and that property has not been sold. What happened to one of the former properties that had not been sold? The Latanzio Bakery, it ended up on the nonprofit rolls.
It's a taxable property. It's a taxable property. It's a taxable property. I'm just telling you, it is. They pay tax on it. Obviously, there's no structure on it, but it's a taxable property.
I'm just trying to avoid that.
Yeah, but here's the other point that you want to think about. How long did that building sit up there in a state of disrepair, looking terrible, and what did we do? We didn't do anything, because we didn't have the financial resources to do it. So, now at least, it's green space. It looks a heck of a lot better than a dilapidated building on one of the, highest trafficked areas in the downtown. So that's an advantage. But, I think we all need maybe a little more education on what they do and how they do it and what their process is. And bring April in to an agenda prep meeting so we can talk about these things. I'm not sure that we can structure our own agreement with them, different than what they have for other municipalities. I don't know.
I just think this council needs to be in a position to be able to intervene at some point before the property is not sold and transferred to somebody who will not pay taxes. We need to have some point that we can intervene and say no.
But their method is that to get it back on the tax rolls, and the property. My understanding is they don't sell them to nonprofits.
Well, I think
They do sell to nonprofits, but they'll only transfer it if the property owner, future property owner agrees to keep it on the tax rolls for a
Okay.
period of time.
Is that forever? I mean, is that forever? Or just for some period of time?
I think it's just for their recoupment period, which is 5 years.
Yes, they get taxes for 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they get a portion.
I just think we need to,
But, and am I reading this right, it only costs us $2,700 a year to be a member of the land bank, which, I mean, like you were
No,
saying,
it cost us nothing. We joined once.
it was a one-time cost.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
Yes or no, Barry? About 2 meetings ago, or 3 maybe, you had proposed the idea of creating a committee to help assist us in getting grants.
Yes.
And I believe our city manager has distributed some information concerning, or
He hasn't distributed it yet. We'll distribute it.
will
How's that?
distribute information concerning a private company that goes out to seek grants and gets paid by a percentage of the grant money that it gets. I was wondering if we could maybe bring that company in and have them explain what they do at an agenda session. Well, let's see if something like that might be worthwhile. I mean, tonight, aside from Mr. Forrest, I don't know how many people here knew what a T21 grant is. I don't know. And I think we need to start getting people who are more conversant with grants to assist us in some way or shape or form to be getting them. So if we could maybe look at perhaps the July agenda session or the June agenda session.
Yeah, that's fine. I won't be here for the June agenda session, but I'm on vacation, but June or July.
I'm meeting with the gentleman this week. I can see if he's available.
Okay, either day.
Anything else? I had something under unfinished business. Did you guys all get the email from Zach on the municipal claims that he sent us? I think you sent it to everybody, right? I'm sure you did.
Which one, when was this?
When did I send it?
Maybe not. The municipal claims that you filed?
Well, we didn't file any yet. We were just,
Or that you have been preparing to file?
yeah.
Okay, because I just think I don't think council's aware of this, so I think we need to make them aware of it.
So when taxes go delinquent for a period, or when fees go delinquent for a period of time, for instance, garbage, they're not paid for a period of years, what happens is municipalities file what are known as municipal liens or claims, which puts a lien on the property for the amount that's owed, so that in the event that the house is going to be sold, whether it's through a private transaction or through an auction or what have you, that the municipality is on the list to get repaid prior to any money going to the property owner. Kind of, think of it as a mortgage. So we've been undertaking the process of preparing all of the municipal claims that are going to need to be filed. It's over 130, and we're making good work of it.
We do this every, Jim,
Every 3 years, roughly.
right, every 3 years we do.
You can maintain a municipal claim for 3 years without having filed it, but once you've got to file it before the 3 years are up.
And what's happening is you wait until the amount that they owe is significant enough to justify going through the process.
And there's a lot of money out there, guys, like over a mil,
There's over 100,000,
yeah, $1.5 million.
all and a half.
It's just, that we already have an ordinance on that where we put liens on the property, don't we?
We do, we've just done it in the past, it's just that this is, it's been about 3 years since Jim did it, and Zach's doing it now.
Yeah, the city-
Okay, I got where we're at, okay. I was confused, okay, I got you. I know where you're at.
Yeah, the city
Quick.
gave me a list, and I've been working with my staff to prepare all the municipal claims. You have to identify, it's a filing at the pathonetary's office. You have to identify the property owner, identify the property, identify what's owed, all the fees that we're adding on because they're making us do this. And then it's a valid claim on the record for any sort of future transaction.
I just wanted everyone to be aware of it, because I was kind of shell-shocked when I saw the amount.
Well, let's be very candid. People know we cannot shut off their garbage service.
Right.
That's a known fact, we can't do that. So consequently, we do have quite a bit outstanding.
Was it you that we talked about one time that was like a city in Arizona that tied it to like water?
Phoenix, and Reading, PA.
Does Reading do it?
Yep.
Yeah, you have to get the authority to agree to tie it to their building, and therein lies the rub.
There are some issues to be ironed out with the municipal authority. Notice given, it's got to comply with their requirements, and notice given to the property owner. But the bottom line is, if we can work that out with our own municipal authority, that where it in effect becomes a payment of a multifaceted bill, water, sewage, sanitation. Treat that as one bill. If the total bill isn't paid, they can shut off the water. Now, I'm saying that in a general sense. I think it needs to be explored.
I think it's worth exploring because, I mean, you're talking about $80,000 to $100,000. And some of that stuff just continues to grow because, I mean, what's the incentive for people if they have no intention of selling their house?
The issue with the water authority is they would have to collect garbage first on the bill and then do water after that. So that if the way the billing is structured has to be, because they can't shut for garbage either, but they can shut for water. So in other words, say you got a bill of $100. 60 of it is garbage and 40 of it is water. If you only pay 60, it's going to go to the garbage and therefore they can shut off the water. But it's got to be, the water authority has to go through that process and they have to be in agreement to do it.
And and I'm sure there would be a fee associated with that for them to do that for us. The other question I often wonder is, if the garbage company was doing the billing, what would they do?
It would be outlined in your contract with the garbage company. Sometimes it depends on what the contract says. Some municipalities let them just not pick up garbage if there's no payment on the account. Some municipalities require them to pick it up anyway, and then that raises the rates because they need to cover the missed accounts.
And they, without the authority from the township or city, whatever, can't lien it. Because they, from what I understand, in the past, the garbage company, Waste Management, whoever, doesn't have the authority to lien the account. Now, that may have changed, but that's the way it was.
If they sue them, they can sue them and get a judgment.
Yeah, they can sue and get judgment.
That's what a few years ago, but.
To utilize the Municipal Claim Lien Act.
I guess what I'm wondering is,
It'd have to be municipal.
Is it going up? Is it going down? Is it staying the same? I mean, what's the trend? I mean, are we always hanging around this $80,000 number?
Probably the number of people that's probably about the same. I could verify that. We could go back to the records, but from what I understand, I don't think it's any larger than it has been in the past.
I think we maybe saw an uptick during the recession, when properties were harder to sell. Now, it's easier to sell properties, and we're getting paid back. I mean, we do get our money eventually, but that eventually can be a long time coming. And the other problem is you don't get much in the way of interest, 6% legal interest.
Well, I've also talked to the manager, the manager regarding changing our fee. So you're allowed to get costs, fees, and attorney's fees back as part of the municipal claim. So we add $75 to file it. There's about $5 in fees for mailing and copies and stuff that's added onto the municipal claim. And then there's an attorney's commission of 5%, which then is added on for the principal amount and then remitted back to the city. And I think we should probably amend our fee structure so that it's a set amount, say $200, because, for my time, it's preparing the municipal claim, doing letters, and then when the claim gets paid off, then I have to file a satisfaction piece and I have to mail that as well. So right now it's 5%, which really isn't that much. So I think, moving forward, I think we should adjust our fee schedule and change that to a set amount.
And we look at the end of the year, we look at fee structures for everything. At that point in time, we can include it in one ordinance.
Anybody else have anything? Under unfinished business, what about new business? Any new business? Any other comments from the citizens, the citizens' request? I guess not. City managers report?
Just a reminder that on June 28th at 5 o'clock, PennDOT's going to have a meeting in council chamber to talk about closing 981 for 2 days over the weekend to repair the Unity Run bridge. They're calling it a bridge, but so it's going to be. And I'll send out a reminder, but it's June 28th at 5 o'clock.
When do they want to close? I'm not going to be here, but when do they want to close it?
I don't think that's been determined exactly yet, but they plan on doing it on a Saturday and a Sunday. Hopefully that'll help. Hopefully not during the band, but.
I think we can control that.
Slab. Don't slab up, put the slab down. You go under the slab.
We're going to the 3rd and 4th of July.
There's something else I was going to ask you, now I lost it.
No, I will do it before that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, anything else, Wayne?
That's it.
Just, Madam Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Just a reminder that Relay for Life's this weekend. So some of you may be getting calls for loud music or something like that.
Yeah, I have that in my mayor's report. Just give me a minute, there was something else I wanted to. Okay, as the chief said, Saturday is Relay for Life. The city employees were all invited to come down for the opening ceremonies and the initial lap, which is at 10 a.m. So any and all of the city employees that are available and that can make it, it's a great event, and I look forward to seeing everybody there. We did prepare a proclamation for them because this is the 25th anniversary. Thank you, Ms. Piton, for that. Took us a while to get it all on one page, but she did it. This is their 25th anniversary. Relay for Life in Latrobe, so I think that's quite a milestone accomplishment. So I would encourage everyone that can come to come. Had a really nice day on Saturday for Mr. Rogers Day. I want to thank the police, the public works, all the city employees, the fire department, everybody that worked to have that event. There was a lady that brought her grandchildren from Dayton, Ohio. She saw it online and grew up with Mr. Rogers and wanted her grandchildren to have that experience, so they drove in from Dayton. I'm sure there were other examples of that. It was packed. I never saw so many kids. Anybody that thinks that we're an older community needed to be downtown Saturday, there were so many kids. It was really a great, great event. And so our congratulations to the committee that worked on that, and in conjunction with that, I had the opportunity to go see Mr. Rogers' documentary on Sunday night. It was like being in Latrobe concerts in the park or something. I mean, everybody from Latrobe was there, and the theater was absolutely packed. I don't think there was an empty seat there. If you get the opportunity to see that documentary, I'm not sure when they're going to be showing it again at the movie theater, but it's only about an hour and a half long. You have to sit through about 25 minutes of commercials, that they show at the movies, but it was really a moving. Has anybody seen it? It was really a moving piece. It brought me to tears a couple of times. I mean, I sometimes think we all tend to take for granted the work that Mr. Rogers did in the country, and the way kids responded to him, and he responded to kids, and the message that he sent. It was applicable to today. One of the first stories that they showed was in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. King Friday was starting to feel uncomfortable, so he put a wall up around, the kingdom there, and it was weird, because we talk about this, and there was just so many. Even though this happened, 30 years ago, and it was really a moving film, and I think the New York Times had something on their news today about it, about in the paper about it just being such an amazing documentary. So I encourage everyone to take the time to see it if you get that opportunity. I'm going to be on vacation the last week of June, so I won't be here, and so that'll lead us into the 4th of July weekend. So lots of good things happening here in Latrobe. So just remember, there's a lot of people running around. So, go slow and be careful and enjoy the rest of your summer. I have nothing else, and if no one else has anything for the good of the order, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
When's the bridge opening?
June 22nd. And actually, Wayne and I ended up down there last week. We got a call from I think it's the director of the Uniontown Office of PennDOT and the deputy director. Wayne and I met them down there. Oh, that's what I knew there was something I wanted to ask. Chief, you and I talked a little bit about the pillar in the middle. Are we just going to redo it? Is that what we did? I mean, one of the things they asked us is about that, concrete thing in the middle, and did we want it out? And they thought it was kind of a safety hazard, and so I just wondered if there was any more discussion about that, or maybe it's too late.
Wayne and I talked a little bit about it. I felt that it should be gone when they started the construction problem. I feel the same, it is a problem. Project that it's council's decision. I remain the same thought, that I don't think it should be there, but and that's the way I felt when they started, and I still feel that way. But it's council's decision.
Council, anyone have a thought? I mean, it might be too late now, I don't know, but.
Well, I think I expressed my thought, Madam Mayor. Our city is tough enough to drive through with all the one-way streets. Having that little bit of guidance, I'm sure, is a help to the motorists coming in, to know that they'll be directed off to the right.
You would need a concrete island, with maybe a concrete barrier. So you'd have to have something there. It wouldn't be, you could not leave it clear because people wouldn't know that they're going to go the wrong way up a depot. So, it could be changed in the future, but you'd have to decide what you want to have.
Anybody else have any comment?
That was my only fear, is people coming over the bridge and not knowing
Sure.
to go straight or make the right. It would be signage or what they planned on doing. What do they want to see?
They never said. They just complained about it being there.
My guess is it's probably too late to do anything of substance right now. Yes,
If
Chief?
you do keep it there, it's going to have to fall under the requirements of the vehicle code for signage. If you're directing a lane, there's certain specifications, certain signs you have to use. I'm not aware off the top of my head what they are, but I'm sure there's requirements under PennDOT.
Yeah, those are already installed. I just saw them do that in front. They put a new blinky light up there that's DOT and state approved. And
light?
Yeah. Sorry.
A blinky light?
Blinky
industry term.
That's a technical term, Mike, a blinky light?
Yeah, that's we'll erase that. Flashing lights. So, yeah, they just put that up on Friday. I saw that, and they put the signage up. But I made them. I went down on the depot. If you're leaving town, they still have to keep right up there. And I had to take that up because if not, they were going to go through all the delineators there.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're everything's. I guess at that point it's all state approved, with what they did. So.
And then I think Wayne said there's insurance money to fix and paint the
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
paid.
big cement pillar thingy.
Yeah, we're gonna actually do some of the painting in-house, fix some of that stuff.
Yeah, we did get reimbursed for the truck that was sitting on it.
I saw a truck when I was coming home this weekend that was going the wrong way up Depot Street. I mean, it was sitting up there, so I don't know what happened, how it ended up there, but I'm sure you guys have lots of stories to tell.
I learned 3 new foreign languages.
Is there a sign language one in there too?
On that note, oh, I'm sorry.
But to your point, the police, task force that was manning the road coming in, they are averaging between 10 to 12 trucks a shift, which is phenomenal to me. Or maybe 10, 12 a day, but.
Yeah, and I think it's important that we make sure people understand that we're being reimbursed for that by PennDOT. I had a resident call me and say, please don't tell me that we're paying to have a police officer sit up there with their flashing lights on. for 12 hours a day. I said, no, we're not, PennDOT is, so.
And we've been getting those checks. We've
Mhm.
been sending over.
And that's an overtime pay, so it's, they're paying a premium rate.
There's no question.
But I gotta tell you, the bridge looks phenomenal. It's just really, really pretty. Hey, Wayne, the streetlights, those things are for banners, right? Where this,
Right.
right. And
Right.
where are we on the banner project?
We really haven't gone anywhere with it because we haven't gone anywhere with it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
we can certainly look at it, it was something.
we had some designs and stuff, didn't we have some stuff?
Yeah, they can resurrect them. It's been over a year and a half.
Is that our thing, that's our project, the cities, or,
Yeah.
I mean, a combination of cities and the businesses and all
And
that
that's
kind of
got
stuff?
donations, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Thank you, Mr. Forrest. Second. Meeting, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.